got the new Vapor FLYLITE Skate here. We're gonna unbox it. This is my first time seeing this skate, first time seeing the new graphic. And then we're actually gonna bring in a whole expert, Kyle, our skate expert here at BAUER. He's gonna explain everything that we kind of know about the skate. But for now, let's just get a first peek. Wow, oh my God. They went crazy with it. There's like a full white back. They've got kind of like a purple blue vibe, which is like not what I would have expected for Vapor, but I actually love that. Kyle, come on in.
Corbin, how are you?
I'm pumped. This is sick.
These are unreal, eh?
I mean, you must have seen these like a year ago or something. But
we've been through a couple iterations for sure, but nothing's better than getting a fresh unboxing.
Okay, I have a lot of things to ask you about this, a lot of things to say about it, but first things first, can you give us just like a 60-second breakdown of everything we need to know about this skate?
100%. Yeah,
Timing,
we'll hit the newness real quick. So new facings, we'll get into the details. Optimizations in the tongue, which has been really successful for us. The really cool piece, I guess the piece to me, is the graphic application and the curve construction through here. So a little different layup, which gives us some really great contrast and great pop on the graphic. That's where you get that wow factor. Yeah. And then just some newness underneath the skate as well with a new outsole. So the biggest thing that we want people to understand and kind of take away from this skate is we want our Vapor skates to get people into the most reactive positioning out in the ice. And the biggest thing you're going to see on the facing is just some added flex notches in the lower portion of that skate. So if you think about knees over toes, this skate's going to do that effortlessly, seamlessly, and efficiently. Time.
Wow. Easy. You still have like 15 seconds to go, so that's great. Thank you so much. We kind of talked about like there's a bit of a different color here. Can you just kind of walk us through the whole design of this skate, and if there's any like hidden details in there that you particularly like, if you can kind of point those out
for sure.
For
Yeah,
us?
I mean, the beauty in this is, you know, it hits you kind of both levels. It hits you at 30,000 feet and it hits you up close. The big things that I like to see here, and I'm more, I'd say a little bit more traditionalist, but I love the chrome details right on the heel. The lower heel portion, it kind of shoots up towards the back of the skates.
Yeah.
You know, when that catches the light just ever so slightly, it really pops there. And to me, is a subtle accent. But as you can see, you know, some of the facing details and the line structure really exemplifies kind of getting over the top of your skate. The design team really knocked it out of the park with looking at how we incorporate our newer technology and how we decorate, but also the importance of flexibility and performance in the skate.
Have you had feedback from like pro players, or obviously there's like people in our like field testing and stuff that have done it? What's been the feedback there for it?
So the feedback, and it's been surprising. It's this Vapor skate has been hard to get out of the hands of the people that we've tested with. So
that's unusual. Like, that is not a normal thing. Like, we always talk about like the pro athletes, like they don't want to change.
No. So it's hard to kind of pull that back a little bit, which is a good, you know, it's a good nod to the product. But the best comment that we've heard so far is that people are going into this skate and they feel like it's the most comfortable skate that they've ever been in. So it's great to hear year after year
not a bad review,
and getting that improvement for sure. So that's you know, that's when we kind of hang our hat on it in terms of comfort.
What is the difference from HyperLite 2 or even any of those past ones to this skate?
Yeah, great question. We'll start up top and kind of work our way down.
Great question,
Facing is going to be the #1 piece. So our previous facing on HyperLite 2 had the flex notches up top here, but it didn't have the additional flex in the lower facing here. So what that did from a performance standpoint, essentially it fired up top as you were starting to flex and then transferred down. Now we're getting on FLYLITE that seamless kind of firing and effortless load because we have multiple flex zones here. We have some optimizations in the tongue, again, just kind of learning from feedback and overall use case of the skate itself. So we've added some abrasion pads in where the high traffic areas were from sliding around or flexing that skate. Yeah. Big one's going to be the curved boot construction. All right, so we're optimizing this, a little bit different layup internally to help store some energy and give it some more spring. So in theory, this skate should feel like a newer skate longer, essentially is what we're going for.
Love that.
Graphic, I mean, you can't say enough about the graphic. That's so a big change as well. And then underneath the skate as well. So a different, different foxing, So
it goes, the graphic goes in, but I guess you're more talking about this.
I'm talking, so the actual piece in the heel, this is all one piece, so foxing and outsole. Before it was stacked on top of one another, so it just added a little bit more weight, some more, you know, assigning of everything or assembling of everything together. Going through some optimizations there. And again, this supports that Vapor family story where we're stiff up top with a bit more flexibility in the lower portion to maintain your blade contact.
We've covered kind of like what might be the difference between the different lines and everything like that, but if you're just kind of like getting into a new skate, what would be the biggest thing?
For sure, I'd say if you're in that kind of that 5-6 year mark, the big change has really been how we overhauled our fit system. So we used to have a Vapor skate, a Supreme skate, and a Nexus skate back in the day.
Yeah.
Just looking at different performance benefits and different fit types, we were able to change that in we call our science of fit. So we revolutionized the way skates fit in 2020, so just around that 5-year mark.
Yeah.
And we wanted to focus on allowing the player to choose the skate that they want and not be forced into a family based off of their foot type.
That makes sense.
So we introduced Fit 1, Fit 2, and Fit 3, which will have different dynamics, but in both families. So you can get a Fit 1 Vapor or you get a Fit 1 Supreme, and those should fit very, very similar on your foot.
Okay, yeah.
In past years, if somebody had a little bit more volume, so a little bit higher facing, or just a wider foot, they generally couldn't fit into a Vapor skate.
Yeah.
So that really solves the issue and kind of puts the decision back to the consumer or the player to say, what skate do you want to wear?
So what is Fit 1, what's Fit 2, and what's Fit 3?
Great question. So Fit 1's going to be, we're talking 3 dimensionals here.
Yeah.
So fit, we're going to talk about width of the skate, we're going to talk about the instep of the skate, and then we're also going to talk about length of the skate. So that's what we talk about when we talk about dimensions here. So Fit 1 is generally going to be a narrower profile, so just somebody who has a narrower foot with a low volume. When we talk volume, it's really from the facing to the heel pocket.
Okay.
Fit 2 is going to grow that proportionately. So it's going to be a slightly wider in the forefoot area, and it's going to have more volume from that facing to the heel. And then Fit 3, again, if we're looking at patterns here, it's going to be a bit taller and a bit wider.
Yeah.
So depending on your foot size, your foot measurement, everything, if you're going in to get a scan, that's where you have that option now kind of back to the player to say, it doesn't matter what your foot is, we've got 3 different fits that help correlate to you getting into a skate.
One thing I feel like has been a part of my fit for skates forever has been insoles.
For sure.
Like, how does that kind of factor into this? Is it the same? Would you bring your old insoles over? Would you get new ones?
So I would always recommend, if you're looking at a new skate, you're probably looking at a new insole as well. Odds are that old insole has been taken and absorbing some of that sweat, or if it's been a year at least of use, we're going to look and replace that one. So what you would start with, again,
BAUER trying to get me to get new insoles again.
I would look at it. If it looks dirty, I probably would replace it.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
But I mean, you start with the Fit Lab, you get on there and you get a scan, so you get a pressure map as well, so how you sit and kind of how you interact with the ground. It'll give you a product solution that will be that insole that can go into your skate. You remove the stock one that's in there and put that Atrix orthotic in there to help kind of finalize that fit.
And then I think, honestly, I'm ready to see the custom ones. I want to see the different options. And obviously, it's not just look, but we're going to get a look too. So
yeah, absolutely.
Let's get these out.
Let's take a look.
Wow. Magic. Yeah, I mean, I just picked these up and brought them here, so I kind of saw the reaction, or I saw the colors then. But again, these look unbelievable. Obviously, there's the black option for if you're going away from the white, you still have that sleek look that you can just still keep the skate in if that's the one you want to be in. But
a lot of guys did like that kind of dark and stealthy look from what they wanted to achieve from their skate, so we still have that option available. If they're in a HyperLite 2
pro
black.
Guys across the board.
That's
give me a black stick and a black skate.
But for those that are looking to match the colors or just explore a little bit more of what we have available, again, a little bit more color splash than what we have in our Supreme lineup. Just screaming at the top of the mountains in terms of what we got for color capabilities.
Obviously, there's a lot of tongue options that you're able to kind of go through. Can you walk us through some of that and just what the differences might be?
For sure. So you'll have the 2 stock options that come on Vapor and Supreme. You'll have a molded felt, which is, again, a little bit thinner. You'll have a classic felt, which is a little bit thicker. And then you can go to that larger one there if you needed to fill space. Say somebody had a really narrow ankle and needed to fill a little bit more volume in there. Again, from a fitting perspective, that's kind of where that comes into play. But the nice piece is you can also add your name and number to it as well. So we have a patch that will go on up top. We'll hit that. We can enter in 2 digits for a number. Again, most people are in 2 digits for a jersey number. And then you have 13 characters. So if you want to put a nickname, a first name, last name, whatever you'd like to do, you can add that as well. So you have a little bit of personalization to match your custom skates.
Honestly, I think we've covered pretty much everything. I'm just excited to try the skate on. But this isn't the only skate available in the new Vapor line, obviously. We kind of mentioned that earlier. But can you kind of just walk us through, obviously, this is top of the line, and then it goes down from there to Fly Pro, and then can you just, obviously, give us everything else?
Yeah, so we've got 4 price points in the Vapor family. Fly Lite, obviously, we just spoke about. The Fly Pro, which is also going to be our elite level skate. We'll go down to the Fly 40 and then the Fly 30 as well. So we've got multiple different price points, again, depending on where our players are in their developing career and what suits them in terms of what they need to get on ice.
Yeah, so you have everything you need. The only other thing you can do is really go try it on. So if you want to, go in store. You can go to FitLab and find out a bunch more about your fit. So there's tons of different things, tons of different options. And if you want to find out about any of the other equipment also, like Vapor just came out with pretty much everything you could possibly wear. And we made a bunch of videos about them. So check those out on the BAUER YouTube channel and let us know what you think.